So another thing that happened in February of 2009 is that Paris was spotted wearing this little red string bracelet, which people thought was probably a Kabbalah bracelet. So let me explain Kabbalah, because Kabbalah was a huge trend among celebrities at the time. So Kabbalah is basically a practice based off of Judaism, and I read some articles to try and understand it. I'm going to do the best I can to explain, but if anybody is a Kabbalah expert, please leave some comments that are helpful, or if I get something wrong, please let me know. It's based off of lesser known Jewish texts, and originally it was supposedly only for higher up members of the church, more advanced in their religious literacy, I guess. And a rabbi named Philip Berg founded the Kabbalah Center that Paris and lots of other celebrities were following, and he was basically trying to make it something that everybody could learn from rather than exclusive to Judaism. So at that point it was kind of not really religion anymore, it was more like spiritualism, self-help kind of deal. They claim that it expands consciousness and understanding, and it seems like Kabbalah has a lot to do with karma, self-acceptance, empowerment, that kind of thing. Although it seems like, from all the articles that I was reading, that it kind of became more of a cash grab than anything else, that they kind of figured out that celebrities liked this and it was trendy, so the red bracelet started to cost a lot of money, that kind of thing. And the red string bracelet was supposedly to help ward off the evil eye and have God smile upon you, and a lot of celebrities in the early 2000s really bought into this. It was trendy, and they were spotted with them. Tons of people were. And I couldn't find the clip, but there is a clip from The Simple Life. I can't remember which season, but Paris does say something about Kabbalah. She doesn't say explicitly that she follows it, but pretty much everybody assumed that she did since she was wearing the red bracelet. March 10th, 2009, Paris and Doug Reinhardt are spotted kissing. He was on the Hills, and he's a sports agent. Turns out that they were dating, so Paris has a new man. But again, apparently, Nikki Hilton did not like him. So that's a red flag. Nikki is Miss Flag Holder. June 2nd, 2009, Paris Hilton's My New BFF Season 2 begins. And Paris also lets us know that my BFF and I, Brittany, are no longer BFFs. She was really hungry for fame and fortune, like a hungry tiger. Although, let's be real, if she's doing a second season, that might have been for promo for that season and explanation for why she needs yet another new BFF and why it's not her fault. And also in June 2009, Paris started filming for the BFF Dubai version. And we also find out that Paris and Doug have broken up. There were rumors that they broke up because she gave him herpes, but it's unclear if those were true. Although we know from the storage locker that she did have that medication. But by October 15th, 2009, they are back together and better than ever. So November 2009, Paris is partying with Lindsay at Stavros' house. Not something that any of us would have expected given their feud, but happy for them. January 6, 2010, Paris does an episode of I Get That a Lot, where basically stars work undercover at jobs, and people are obviously going to say, "You look like Paris Hilton." In this case, she pretended to be a gas station attendant. March 6, 2010, Paris wins another Golden Raspberry for Worst Actress of the Decade. That is a big one. Yikes. And April 15th, 2010, Paris and Doug Reinhardt's breakup is officially announced. She said that they had broken up a couple weeks before, and supposedly she thought that he was just using her for fame. But right after that, Paris is supposedly pictured clubbing with Reggie Bush. And here's Paris. Obviously, this is the paparazzi photo I found where they're clubbing together. This is Paris. I think that this is supposed to be Reggie Bush from what the article said, but I don't know what he looks like, if I'm quite honest. Okay, here he is. Is that the same dude? I'm not sure. Honestly, it's from the side. How would I know? But anyways, Kim K was dating Reggie Bush at the time, so obviously that lit some fires. And apparently after they played Stars Are Blind at a club one night that Kim was at, not with Paris, she said, "Now let's hear some real music." So yeah, she was annoyed. Paris said that she never hung out with Reggie Bush though, even though he was at a club at the same night as her, so possibly all for nothing. This is a fantastic dress. July 3rd, 2010, Paris is questioned about smoking some herb at the World Cup. This was the one in South Africa, which was absolutely iconic, in part thanks to this woman. And that song is still a freaking bop. But apparently the cops thought that somebody in their group was smoking and brought Paris in for questioning. But one of her friends actually ended up stepping forward and saying that the herb was hers, so Paris was off the hook for that. A couple weeks pass though, and July 17th, 2010, we find some herb in Miss Paris's purse at the airport. Luckily, it was less than a gram, so they decided to just take it from her and let her go. I have heard though that people make it through airport security with herb on them all the time now, but obviously I've never tried that, but let me know. I'm very interested to know if you just can get through airport security with it now. So July 18th, 2010, Paris is in Saint-Tropez, and it turns out that Doug Reinhardt is also there. And rumors started instantly that she had actually followed him there and she was trying to get him back, but apparently he was having none of it. She was also allegedly partying with a Malaysian arms dealer, but that's just something on the side, you know. July 27th, 2010, Paris is pictured on a yacht wearing a military hat and giving what people surmise to be a World War II era salute. I hope you're getting the picture with that, because I am pretty sure that the app wouldn't allow me to say that word, because they don't allow a lot. And because the hat was red, people immediately also jumped to communism, which they said was not accurate, of course. And I don't really see her buying a communist hat. Seems like an odd move for a Paris Hilton and her brand. They also said that she wasn't doing a salute, she was just dancing, and that this is actually just a club style hat. I don't know, I'm thinking the paparazzi was probably reaching a little bit on this one, but let me know what y'all think. In the summer of 2010, we discover that Paris is now dating Cy Waits. He's a club manager in Vegas. And good thing, because August 2010, somebody tries to break into Paris's house. And supposedly, Cy spotted them. So he spotted somebody looking through her window and carrying knives, which, holy hell, that is terrifying. But Cy acted fast, got a weapon of his own out, and held the person there until the cops came. Good job, Cy. August 28th, 2010, Paris and Cy are pulled over in Vegas. Supposedly, the cops saw a trail of smoke coming from the car and also smelled a quite herbal scent. And then Cy failed a sobriety test, so he got a DUI. At that point, Paris said that she needed to go inside to use the bathroom, but as she was walking inside, a small bag with a white powdery substance fell out of her purse. And that suspicious white powder was exactly what you think it is, 0.8 grams of it, which the cops swiftly discovered. In a plot twist, though, Paris said that it wasn't her purse or her blow. That's not my wallet. Sorry, I had to. That's all I can think of. She did, however, claim the rolling papers, the cash, and the credit cards from the purse. Turns out, though, that it was hers, as we probably all guessed, so that was pretty awkward. And all of that got her banned from 2 resorts in Vegas and a court date, which we will get to in a little bit. And then September 10th, 2010, Brittany Flickinger, Paris's ex-BFF, is talking about her in the press. And she said, "The way Paris acts is really out there and always the center of attention. She always takes it too far every time we go out." She also insinuated that Paris was taking substances and that she might need help, even though she also said that she'd never seen Paris taking any substances, so I feel like that's kind of... I mean, she was just caught with some in Vegas, but... And again, the hair, the sunglasses, the flip-flops, the coral, it's just screaming 2010. It's truly painful. September 20th, 2010, Paris pleads guilty to possession. This was for the nose candy that she was found with in Vegas that we just talked about. She got a 1-year suspension, a $2,000 fine, and 200 hours of community service. And this is actually a pretty sweet deal, although the judge was very clear that if she misbehaved again, she would be going to jail. And the next day, Paris flies to Japan because she was about to do a bunch of appearances there. However, Japanese immigration officers can keep you from entering the country if you have any drug-related offenses on your record, which she had literally just gotten the day before. So Paris was interrogated for 6 hours at the airport and then denied entry into the country. September 26, 2010, pictures come out of Paris and Lindsay kissing out on a night out. And I know that this photo is so blurry, but I just thought I'd give you a different one because I used another one in the Lindsay series, and it is very clearly them still. To me, that headband screams Paris, so that's how I know for sure. But are they friends again? I don't know. Kind of seems like they're friends. September 28th, 2010, Paris and Hallmark settled their lawsuit, although they kept the terms private. And then the next day, Paris and Cy Waits are leaving a restaurant in LA, and of course, paparazzi are all over them as usual. Well, they get into the car, and Cy just hits the gas and runs over a photographer in the process, and then leaves. Sai said that he didn't realize that he had hit the photographer until somebody texted him about it, and he came back to the scene later without Paris, and then we have two versions of what happened then. The cops said that Sai got a citation for a hit and run, but Sai said that the photographer actually just performed a citizen's arrest on him, and so the cops had to sign that form. And apparently Paris was saying that the photographer was just making up her injuries, which I can see a skid mark from a car right there on her shins, so I think that that's unlikely. In October of 2010, Paris and Sai Waits say that Paris is like a mother figure to his child. Wow, serious. So November 28th, 2010, The Dog Who Saved Christmas Vacation comes out with Paris Hilton starring in it. And she was the voice of a poodle named Bella, which is basically just the dog version of a hot girl. December 11th, 2010, Nicole Richie and Joel Madden get married, but Paris Hilton does not attend the wedding. Also, this is not Joel Madden. This is obviously Lionel Richie. Apparently, she just had a prior commitment, though, and everything was all good between them. And honestly, considering that her ex would be there, Benji, because he's Joel's brother, I don't really blame her for not being ecstatic to attend. Then January 1st, 2011, Paris and Sai Waits get in a huge fight on New Year's Eve. Apparently, her and Nikki had been at some dude's house before, and he was pissed about it. He was trying to get her taken out of the club, as you can see from that last part, and telling her to get away from him, and she slapped him dead across the face. Not a great sign for the relationship. But it was also filmed for Paris's show, so it could have just been a bit, you know? February 18th, 2011, Paris turns 30. She has her 30th birthday party, and at the party, her cake gets stolen. Literally, some dude just crashed the party with his friend, saw this cake there completely whole, tricked the staff somehow, and just made off with it. And of course, because this is Paris Hilton, this just is not any old sheet cake, okay? It was laced with absinthe. There's the absinthe right there peeking out at you with its green monster eyes. The dude was, I guess, pretty intoxicated though, because he told news outlets that he woke up and the cake was just like sitting next to him in his living room. So glaring at him with those green eyes. Apparently, there were also rumors that he gave the cake away to homeless people. Laced with absinthe. Just, I hope he told them. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have a bite. I'd definitely try it. May 6, 2011, Paris is filming for her new show, which is about to air, and she disses Lindsay.
Help out whenever I can.
Can I have those earrings?
You want them?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
get you some. Man, go on about your business.
I'll give them to you for Christmas.
Well, I'm gonna give them to my sister as soon as I get back to Kabbalah. And I'm gonna tell them that this is
I'm not her.
I thought you were supposed to be in rehab.
No, I'm not Lindsay. If I were Lindsay, I'd be stealing the earrings, not giving them away.
She was referencing Lindsay's jewelry theft incidents that had just happened. If you want to hear about those, you can go watch. It's in my Lindsay series. But she did end up apologizing to Lindsay afterwards, and all was forgiven, even though Lindsay said that she was being mean. June 1st, 2011, The World According to Paris airs on Oxygen. It was just about her life, but there was only one season. Apparently, it did not get that much attention, shockingly. And also, according to Sai Waits, the show really made him out to be extremely jealous and controlling, which we do see in that New Year's Eve fight. And all the people around him, including himself, said that that really wasn't an accurate portrayal of their relationship. June 6, 2011, though, we find out that Paris and Sai have broken up. He said that he saw it coming for months and that they finally saw eye to eye, and she agreed with him. He also implicated that they did not share the same morals and that he wanted honesty, communication, commitment, mutual trust, and respect from his next relationship, so implying that they did not have that. He also said that they didn't have compatible lifestyles because he avoids drugs, alcohol, and partying. So, telling us what Paris's lifestyle is, as if we didn't already know that, though. July 4th, 2011, Paris has moved on. She's kissing Todd Phillips. He is the director from The Hangover, and they were kissing at a 4th of July party, although they had apparently been friends beforehand. And people also saw them leaving the Chateau Marmont together, implying a sleepover. She moved on from that, though, and February 12th, 2012, she arrives to the Grammys with Afrojack. He's a Dutch DJ, and of course, everybody was pretty sure that they were dating because going to the Grammys together is like being Instagram official, but for celebrities. We learned later on that she was actually traveling with him and watching his shows to kind of like study the ways to get a crowd hyped up and learn DJing. But by May 2012, Paris and Afrojack had broken up. Supposedly, he just wasn't looking for commitment. June 23rd, 2012, Paris does her first DJ set at the Pop Music Festival in Brazil. She performed a new single called Last Night that was produced by Afrojack, and people were not fond of it. And apparently she was booed at points, but she remained positive. People also saw a dude come out at one point onto the stage, and apparently he was just adjusting the volume, but people immediately speculated that he was actually the one doing the set and Paris was just basically performing. So that was a huge hit for her in her introduction to the DJ world. And after this, Afrojack gave that song to the one and only Mr. Worldwide. Lindsay's ex, Sam Ronson, was also not a fan of Paris's DJing, basically because she felt like it was disrespectful to the people that work really hard at it, like her. Basically saying that Paris didn't really want to DJ, she was just looking for another way to make money. Paris, on the other hand, has said that she loves DJing, it's her favorite thing to do, it's her passion, and it's where she really comes alive. In September of 2012, Paris is in a cab in New York, and the taxi driver actually ends up recording a conversation that she's having in the back seat with her friend, who is gay, and they're talking about Grindr, and she makes some horrifying comments. And I was going to put in the audio of these comments. You can search it on YouTube. I just don't want to because, frankly, I know that this app would not like it. It is hate speech, so I'm just not gonna play with that. But just to give you an idea, she insults gay people in general and makes some comments about AIDS. But again, you can find the full statement on YouTube. Multiple news outlets reported on it. Her publicist said that she was just trying to express that it is dangerous for anyone to have unprotected sex that could lead to a life-threatening disease. And I'm sorry, but it doesn't sound like a sex education statement to me. Her own statement on it, though, was that she was having a private conversation and that it wasn't meant towards all gay people. She also said that gay people are the strongest and most inspiring people I know. Okay, then. And it's interesting because she has apologized for these things, but not my apology to accept, one. And it just seems like everybody has forgotten that any of these things happened. She did make racist remarks. She did make homophobic remarks. November 2012, Paris is still in controversy because she opened up a store in Mecca. People were upset because Mecca is home to the Great Mosque of Mecca, and it is supposed to be a very holy, a very important, a very sacred place in the Islamic religion. And basically they were not pleased with the fact that Paris is who she is, and she was opening a store in this place that is supposed to be incredibly holy. May 23rd, 2013, Paris signs with Cash Money Records. And I know that we just skipped some time, but we are going a little bit faster now. They said that she had an album in the works and that she'd already done a song with Lil Wayne. I haven't heard either of these things ever, haven't seen them put out, so I'm not sure what happened to them. In September 2013, we find that Paris has a new man, River V. Perry. I am not positive that I'm saying that right. He's a model, and he was 21 and she was 32 when they started dating. And we immediately start to see them together at fashion shows, at clubs, at appearances, and of course they're all over each other. She's just gushing about him in the press. I have noticed that she is a very affectionate person when she's in a relationship, talking about them to the media and just being out in public with them. So December 2013, Paris's little brother is attacked in Miami. According to the man who attacked him, he said that he had asked him to leave and he wouldn't leave and started getting aggressive, and that's how the altercation happened. However, they thought that Lindsay had planned it. Paris said they both will pay for what they did, and they did file a police report, but they stopped responding to the police, so nothing ever came of it. In December of 2013, Paris was interviewed by TMZ about her DJing career, and she reveals to us that she is one of the top 5 DJs in the world, at least in terms of pay. And skipping ahead a little bit, March 2014, Afrojack is interviewed, and he is asked about the album with Paris, because he was supposedly going to be producing one for her, but he said that he shut that up. He also basically said that it was just too much with her being Paris Hilton for, I guess, business and relationship. July 8th, 2014, Paris releases another single called Come Alive, and this one is more lined up with her new EDM brand. July 28th, 2014, Paris and River V. Perry are definitely broken up because she's spotted kissing a dude in Malibu. People did kind of think that they might have been broken up because they hadn't posted together in like 3 weeks on social media, which I'm aware is not that much if you're not a social media person, but she's Paris Hilton, so you would think. And then August 2014, Paris's DJing tour starts. Also in 2014, Nicole is on Andy Cohen, and she said that her and Paris haven't talked in a long time, but that they'll always be close friends. In October of 2014, we learned that Paris is getting paid up to $1 million for each DJ set. And nobody asked me how much is in my bank account or I will cry. But she did say that she's more than a DJ because she promotes the place ahead of time. She entertains people while she's there. She doesn't just do the DJ set, she's dancing and whatever. And she also will take selfies with people. So there's publicity associated with it. She also said that she studied DJing 6 hours a day for 6 months so that she could learn everything there is to know about it. So she's very experienced in the field. December 3rd of 2014, Paris files a police report about a stalker. This person was apparently sending her threats as well as making a lot of anti-Semitic comments because they believed that Paris was Jewish, even though she actually is not Jewish. She was raised Catholic, but possibly because of the Kabbalah ties. April 21st, 2015, little baby Tinkerbell passed away. Rest in peace, Tinkerbell. May 2015, Paris is dating Thomas Gross. He's the founder of a sports company, and they met at the Cannes Film Festival and started dating and seemed to be pretty loved up. And then in December of 2015, Paris moved to Switzerland to be with Thomas Gross. And she said that she was super happy and she thought that they were soulmates. Again, very affectionate in the media. But April 25th, 2016, Paris and Thomas break up. And they said that they were just both very busy. Skipping ahead about a year, March 2017, Paris starts dating Chris Zilka. He's an actor and they'd actually been friends for a while beforehand. And she said that she had never been sure of anything. And August 2017, we discovered that Paris Hilton's dogs live in a 300 square foot, 2-story home. And yes, it does have utilities and furniture. Also in August 2017, Paris does an interview with Marie Claire and talks about the SA allegations against Trump. Specifically, that she felt that the women coming forward were just trying to get attention and fame, and they probably were trying to be with him too, because he's wealthy and he's charming and good looking. They talked about multiple different allegations against him, and she pretty much said that he's always been super respectful to her, which, as I said with Lindsay's comments about Harvey Weinstein, if you go back and watch my Lindsay series, fantastic for her. However, that doesn't invalidate other people's experiences. And I would once again like to note that only 5% of SA allegations that are reported end up being false. Also, I feel the need to say this because anytime that I mention Donald Trump, the comment section gets real riled up. If you don't like what I'm saying, or if you're thinking of commenting something about SA victims or women in general, just go ahead and refrain from doing that, and also tell TikTok that you're not interested in my content in whatever way that you would like to, because I'm not here for that. You're welcome to voice your opinion as long as it is not derogatory towards an entire group of people. You cannot like me. You cannot like Paris. You cannot like Trump. You cannot like any one person, but you cannot make generalized blanket statements about groups of people on this page, because I just simply won't let you, and I will delete it. And to wrap this up, Paris has since apologized for this statement and said that they were misapplied and that she will work to advocate for women's voices in the future. And I know that this video got really serious very quickly, but I'm just tired of seeing generalized statements about entire groups of people that are offensive. So if you're wondering who's deleting your comments when you're saying those things, it's me. So 2017 was a big DJing year for Paris Hilton. She was constantly performing, and she said that she was traveling 250 days a year doing it, which is quite a lot of the year. Some interviews said that she was up basically all night doing a show, and then she would sleep for some of the day and then get back up and keep working. Others said that she was waking up at like 7 a.m. So I'm not really sure. Either way, this girl not getting a lot of sleep at this point. In December of 2017, Chris Zilka proposed to Paris, and she said yes, of course. And holy shit, look at how huge that diamond is. It's as big as my eyeball. They were planning on getting married on 11/11 supposedly, because as we know, that is Paris's favorite number and time and day, I guess, too. And she said that at first she was super happy and she felt like everything had finally fallen into place. Obviously, we know that that's going to change though. And December 2018, Paris and Chris had still not gotten married, and it was past 11/11. And we find out that the reason is because they've called off the wedding and they're no longer engaged. Apparently, she said that it just wasn't right and that she didn't want to be with anyone unless it was perfect. She also said, though, that breaking up with him was the best decision she's ever made, which that has got to hurt. She has also since said that he was definitely not the one. And honestly, based on the tone alone and the way that she said that, I am guessing that it was not an amicable ending between them. Another thing she said about it was that she felt very trapped towards the end and that she didn't really want to get married because she was afraid, and she felt like getting married is when you grow up, and she was afraid to grow up, I guess. December 7th, 2018, Paris is in a documentary called The American Meme. So in the spring of 2019, Paris started dating Alex Novakovic, and we see him throughout her documentary. According to Paris, they met at the Ultra Music Festival in Miami. And during her documentary, they go to the Tomorrowland Music Festival where she is performing, and they get in a huge fight. Basically, he started to get upset because he felt like she kept leaving him to do promotions and do press and all of that sort of stuff. And he wanted her to say no to some of those so that he could spend more time with her before she started her set. But she said to him, no, because this is my job and this is how I got to where I am today, so I'm going to keep doing those things. And this was literally right before her performance, and then all of a sudden she has to go on and do her set, and he picks up her laptop and accidentally drops it, which she of course freaks out. And then she gives it to another person on her team and basically says that she wants to give it to somebody who can handle it the way that it needs to be handled because she's worried that he's going to break something. At this, he basically loses it, and then she's begging him not to get mad at her before this huge event in her career. And then she's pissed because she's like, you're ruining my work event right now. She goes on, does her thing, and then afterwards, he's trying to get her to apologize and make up with her, and she is having none of it. And eventually has him removed from the premises of the music festival, takes his wristband away, he's gone. And I have to say, on this one, I am on Paris's side. When a significant other suddenly gets really upset when you're doing something that you really want to do, that's important to you, that's super fun for you, that they know is a significant event, I feel like that just shows that they are trying to gain control over you by getting you to choose them over something incredibly important to you. And in my opinion, that is their way of making sure that you're never too confident or too happy without them, and that your experiences of things that you might love without them are actually jaded by them so that they can keep you in their hold. And frankly, in this scenario, I think that he was very threatened by her and her career and the fact that she is Paris Hilton and she could leave him at any moment and be completely fine without him. And I think he was trying to gain control and feel like he was being chosen. But at the end of the day, Paris chose herself, and I'm proud of her for that. And after this, they obviously broke up, although I don't think that the trust was there to begin with, because in the documentary, she puts nanny cams in her house when I believe it's him. She says a new boyfriend, but then it's him later on. So he is house sitting and she puts in nanny cams to make sure that he's not up to anything. So I don't really think that they ever got to a super trusting point. May 15th of 2019, Paris goes on Andy Cohen's show and she's asked to say 3 nice things about Lindsay. And let's see how that went.
Paris, say 3 nice things about Lindsay Lohan.
She's beyond.
Okay, that's one. That's a pretty nice one to say that she's beyond.
Lame and embarrassing.
She also said that her and Kim Kardashian are friends again and all good, and that her ass is hot, which I think we all agree with. And she also said maybe to having made out with Miley Cyrus. I don't think that it was at this time, but this is a picture of them that I found. I kind of had to crop it because Miley's only half wearing a top. But that is interesting to hear. And in October of 2019, Paris releases her 25th fragrance, wow, Electrify. And honestly, I just wonder if she ever uses her own fragrances, and if she does, which one is her favorite? Paris? Care to comment? Just kidding. There is no way that she is watching 40 plus parts of a series on her own life. She definitely has better things to do, but I don't. And if anybody would like to comment their favorite of Paris's fragrances, I would love to know. Thanksgiving of 2019, Paris and Carter Reum meet again. They actually had met each other sometime around 2005, 2006, but they were just, friendly acquaintances at that time. And she has said that after having filmed her documentary, which we'll talk about in a little bit because it hasn't been released yet, but she had finished filming it, she felt like she was really in a good place and ready to meet the one. And she also said that as soon as she met him, she knew that they would kiss later that night. And January 2020, what do you know? Paris and Carter Reum are making out at the Golden Globes party. And they had already been dating a couple months at that point because they started dating right after Thanksgiving. He is the co-founder of Veev, V-E-E-V, a liquor brand. And supposedly, Nikki really likes him, so that is a good sign. And he said that on the first date, he told her, "I want to know the real Paris, not Paris Hilton." Which is really sweet because obviously, if we have seen anything from this series, Paris Hilton is a caricature of herself. It's not really her. And that's good that he wanted to know who she was as a person. And so then she drank some rosé and became super revealing, which I can relate. That is also when I'm very revealing after I drink alcohol. If anyone has seen my drinking lives, you'd know that. So as soon as Paris and Carter Reum started dating, people were already saying that they were super serious and that they would probably get engaged soon. And in her words, he is very much the type that wants to, be in the wings, be watching her, having her fun, being in the limelight, but doesn't really want to be in the limelight and be in the fame himself. He's more of a private person, which I think is a great combination in relationships in general, and definitely for somebody like her as well. And sure enough, February 17th, 2020, Paris and Carter get engaged. They were on a private island that they had rented, casually, and he took her down to the beach and proposed to her. And of course, her engagement ring is like a damn boulder on her finger. It is really cute actually because they, even though they're fully engaged, still celebrate monthly anniversaries. They talk about that in Paris in Love, and I'm pretty sure she talks about it on her Instagram too. But I find that very sweet. In May of 2020, Paris starred in a short film called Sorry, in parentheses, or What Could Have Been. It's apparently about people who are stuck at a crossroads in life. I didn't see a lot of stuff about it online, so this is obviously not her in the film, but just her hanging out being Paris. And September 14th, 2020, This Is Paris, the documentary, is released on YouTube. She obviously also helped produce this, and it definitely shows a different side to Paris, but she did not have a ton of control apparently, which she has said was very difficult for her because she usually is in control of all of her stuff. And the director said that at first, Paris would always be asleep when they would show up to do filming and she wouldn't answer, which very much gives me Lindsay's Oprah special vibes. That was kind of the case there as well. But then they discovered that the reason that was happening was that Paris really couldn't keep normal hours because she had such bad insomnia. So then Paris and the director had a chat about it, about her insomnia, about her reoccurring nightmares, and it turns out that all stems from her trauma from childhood. And this was her first time telling the world and her parents about the abuse that she suffered in childhood. And they actually show her mother finding out on camera, and it's quite sad. Especially because the tone immediately changes, and you can see that her mother is realizing that what she thought was this really helpful experience was actually something very torturous and traumatic for her. And in the documentary, she also meets up with some of her former classmates from Provo Canyon, and they all talk about how it was there, their feelings about it in the present day, all the trauma and the things that they've experienced since. Her documentary, she says that her ultimate goal is to shut these places down because they shouldn't exist and no child should ever have to go through what I went through, which I totally agree. And she also talks about how she feels like she's almost like stuck with this character, Paris Hilton, that she created for herself. And she really emphasizes that Paris Hilton really is a character. It's not her as a person. And I will say I've seen quite a few celebrity documentaries, as I'm sure y'all have, and it's always interesting to see how with almost all of them, their lives have become so isolated and so impersonal because of their fame and because of their business. And also in the documentary, she talks about how her current goal is to make $1 billion, and that basically when she has a goal in mind, she is just gunning for that goal constantly. And whenever she meets that goal, then that's when she can relax, which, as somebody who is also like that with goals, you don't ever really relax. Another thing we learn a lot about in this documentary is just the sheer amount of abusive and toxic partners and abusive and toxic behaviors that she has had to endure in her life. But most importantly, I think that this documentary was very helpful for her in trying to rebrand herself away from, you know, dumb, blonde heiress and towards what she really wants to be, which I think is really just herself. And also very much helps in being taken seriously when she's trying to campaign for these changes. February 22nd, 2021, the This Is Paris podcast begins. And in it, she interviews people, chats, answers fan questions, all of the above. I listened to one recent episode where she talks about Brittany and Lindsay, about the car picture, and about how she wishes them the best. She hopes that they're happy. She's excited for their engagements. She also talks about all of the early 2000s drama, and she said that it was mostly just the tabloids and the media pitting women against each other. But she also did admit to being immature and sometimes doing things that she should not have done. Overall, this podcast is definitely not a pop culture Princess Paris. That is not what you're going to see if you listen to this podcast. It is a mature, sophisticated, refined version. Also, in February 2021, Paris testifies about her experiences in the troubled teen industry. It was for a bill in Utah that would go towards preventing abuse in troubled teen centers. And she discussed all of the abuse that we have talked about in the previous parts, about, you know, being beaten, forced medicine on her, verbal abuse, watched while she was showered, all of that stuff. March 12th, 2021, Paris and Electric Polar Bears released this song Melting, it's EDM. And April 6th, 2021, Utah passes a bill to ensure oversight at troubled teen facilities so that abuse is no longer able to occur. Paris was there at the signing and said that she plans to continue to pursue it in other states and at the federal level. June 16th, 2021, Britney Spears is in court for conservatorship, and she says that she actually doesn't believe Paris. She said that she didn't believe Paris's abuse allegations against Provo Canyon, and that she was worried about coming forward with her conservatorship abuse because she thought nobody would believe her either. Paris said this didn't bother her though, and that she felt like it was probably taken out of context and still very much loves Britney. July 2021, we start hearing rumors that Paris is pregnant, although she said that those were not true, not yet. August 4th, 2021, Cooking with Paris is released on Netflix, and the title says it all, obviously, but she also has guests on, which is fun. August 2021, we also find out from Paris that she's frozen her eggs, and she said that she loves Carter and she does want to start a family with him, and she had actually come to terms with being on her own and starting a family on her own before she met Carter. But now she has him. October 2021, Paris starts 1111 Media. It's her own media company to encompass all her brands. And of course, she used 1111 because she feels like it's lucky, angel numbers, you know. Also in October of 2021, Paris and Carter have a joint bachelor party in Vegas. And November 11th, 2021, Paris in Love airs, and it's all about the work up to the wedding. November 2021, Paris and Carter Reum get married. First of all, Nicole and Kim were both there, so they're all friends again. But they're friends now in a grown woman way with their own lives, you know, not in a 20-something club-going way. The first day was on November 11th, 11/11, at her grandfather's estate, and it was a huge ceremony. The next night, they had a full-on neon carnival where she wore this bright pink Barbie dress, and lots of DJs performed, including Diplo. Then they had a third night back at her grandfather's estate where they had more performances. And according to Paris, she's really excited to lead a simple life with Carter, as simple as it can be when you're Paris Hilton. And she has said that she does want to start a family for him, so hopefully that's what's next in the cards for her. But either way, she seems to be happy, which is great. And you can hear more details about her wedding on her podcast too. Paris is obviously very happy now, working on lots of stuff, including breaking code silence. And love her or hate her, Paris has definitely changed the world as we know it, especially with social media, reality TV, influencer culture, which, especially if you're a communication and sociology major like me, is very interesting to look at. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment any additions you might have or any thoughts or opinions. I'd love to hear them, as well as any series suggestions or new video suggestions in general. And if you want to see more of me and more of my series, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week with another one.